Welcome to the Lorehounds podcast. We're the Lorehounds, your guides to psychohistory. I'm John.
And I'm Marilyn. This is our coverage of Foundation on Apple TV Plus, Season 3, Episode 5, Where Tyrants Spend Eternity. If you want to get in contact with us, send an email to empire@thelorehounds.com or head to our Discord server from the link tree in the show notes where a lot of really neat people hang out.
And if you like what you've heard and you want to support us and get ad-free and bonus content, check out the link tree in the show notes, same link tree, to find our Patreon and Supercast subscription options. Now, everyone, I just want to get ahead of something here. You may notice my voice is a little different. I've had the flu for a few days. We're barely fitting in this recording before the episode airs, so apologies if I sound a little different, if I'm a little bit lower energy. I'm going to try to keep hype because I am very hype about this episode. Just trying to make it through a tough week. So, Marilyn.
John, you sound great, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I'm doing nasal chic. So, what did you think of the episode?
Oh, how do they just keep getting better and better? I don't know. It's phenomenal. I have to say, when I first saw that title, I found myself wondering about the meaning of it ever since I first caught a glimpse of it. And oh dear, I feared the worst, and I wasn't wrong, unfortunately. But the way we reached that point is just extraordinary. I love the way they keep plucking very specific notes from the book series and weaving them into entirely new melodies in the TV series. I think this might go down as my most favorite and admired film version of a book or book series ever, if it stays on track. Big if. We're only halfway through now. So, there's a lot to come. But yes, I am very enthusiastic about this episode. What about you? I
thought it was the best episode yet.
Yeah.
I maybe of the series so far. Like, this was really, really excellent. I mean, actually, I don't know if I'll say that because the last couple episodes of last season really blew me out of the water.
Yeah.
But really, really great. I got by the twist. I did not expect Gale.
So did I. I got by a couple of twists, actually.
I thought Gale was God. You know what I mean? I thought Gale was outsmarted by the mule, and she wasn't. That was her plan. It was a feint. Mm-hmm. And it's really interesting because they do a lot of really great mirroring in this. So, you have Gale being so I think almost faux shocked that Dawn kills the bystander because it was necessary for the plan. He's like, oh, I can be cold. But guess who was way colder?
Seriously.
Was Gale. Was willing to sacrifice a planet and a fleet to defeat this guy. I mean...
Not to mention an emperor or two.
Yeah. An empire, really. I mean, this is the end.
Yeah.
And he knows it. He knows there's no going back now. That's the end of the entire empire.
Well, I wouldn't count Demerzel out until we see her parts distributed on the floor or something similar.
That's fair. I don't know where she's going with it.
I mean, she recovered from being cut into many slices, right? That was the previous season. So
I will also say I was... I need to give these guys, these writers, more credit because I was thinking that this Dawn plotline was going to be very like romance and will they, won't they, and it totally went in a different direction. And I'm really glad that they faked me out with that.
Uh-huh.
I think they purposefully teased that to distract me, and that was really smart. Plus, I think we're really setting up for an amazing weaving in of book plot lines that I can't talk about right now because it would spoil the book and spoil the whole plot of the show.
Right.
But I really think that we're pointing towards something that is going to make a lot of critics of certain parts of the season have a little egg on their face.
Hopefully those critics include neither thee nor me. But we shall see. But I quite agree with your assessment. And it's funny, I never saw the romance from the beginning. I could see, though, where one might interpret it that way. So they were foxy, precious.
What?
Sorry.
I don't understand that.
My very faux Gollum imitation. Never
my
mind.
God. Okay, I'm sorry.
Moving on,
I'm sorry.
moving on.
I wasn't getting the Gollum impression from it. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, I'm so impressed by this team. I think there's some talks of like, will they or won't they follow the Goyer plan after this? I don't know. I hope that they will, because it's been an incredible journey so far.
Indeed.
So since I'm sick, I'm going to say let's get right into this journey.
Do it.
Let's start on Mycogen. On Mycogen, Day eludes captors by setting up a decoy who he watches from afar. Demerzel discovers the Clavager's body and says they won't see Day again, nor be bothered by him, but she'll deal with Dawn.
Yes, I loved the visuals of Mycogen. All the tangled roots and all the moisture dripping and the just lovely eye descriptions of the sorts of things that you would expect to find in a world which not only thrives on mold and yeast itself, but is supplying a planet of how many millions of people, billions of people. This is the foundation of empire, whether they like it or not, because it's the primary food source now. But both literally and the foundation of the fundament, the ground. And as I say, the food source that keeps them all going. And I'm reading Prelude to Foundation again, and like you were saying, there's definitely a similar event in the books. So, as I said before, I love the way they're plucking these things out and giving us entirely new context and perspective on it. Yeah, when we were on the surface with Demerzel and the dead Clavager, my first thought was, well, didn't the nanites last very long? Because I thought they were intended to make the Clavager's body look like Day.
I didn't think so. I thought that was just like a homing beacon.
Yeah, no, obviously I misread it. Because, of course, that's what it was. It was a marker for Demerzel to locate. And I like the fact that, at least through the captions, I finally discovered his name. Mavin. His name was Mavin, not Clavager or Captain Clavagers or whatever. So
I don't know if he was much of a good guy in the end anyway, but his family didn't deserve to suffer.
Well, no. And I think he was in an impossible position. Whatever he did or didn't do. I think the minute Day first approached him, he knew that sooner or later he was just going to be screwed. Because how could it be any other way? Everybody knows that Demerzel looms in the background of Empire, and how can you possibly accept the word of people who are going to flip on a dime and have wheels within wheels? But clearly Day was much more cognizant of events and plotting 6 or 8 steps out.
Yeah.
In ways that just were not obvious at the time. It was a clever switcheroo that Day did with an unknown old man, so that he was able to put the Mycogenians off his trail.
Yeah. But
now I wonder, is Day vulnerable? Are the nanites that transferable and removable? Or I've always read it that he took some of his nanites out, enough to have the signal, and put them into Mavin.
Oh, I thought it was all of them, and that's why.
Well, see, a lot of people have said that, and if that's the case, it's a pretty weak protection system. My goodness.
Well, I mean, you got to hold him down long enough to extract it. I think that's and you have to get past his personal aura too. So
that's true. He did take off his personal aura. So
I think that's a pretty good dual protection system. In my opinion. Yeah. I almost said IMO. I've been on the internet too long.
They kept switching it up over the hundreds of years, because as each successive Dawn or Day or whoever did something, they thought, all right, well, that's not going to work anymore. Let's try another iteration of this protection thing. So for me, it's all still kind of murky. And I wonder if at some point I'd like it if they would provide us, very clear discussion, demarcation of the abilities and limitations of nanites, but I somehow have a feeling that they're not going to do that.
Yeah, this show, it does, and this is part of the books too, is like, There are some things that are like really scientific because Asimov himself was a scientist, right? He wrote science textbooks too. He wrote nonfiction.
Right. Yes.
But there were some things that were like, the metallics where he's just like, and then there was magic. But we're going to call it science. And that's fine. Like, I think that is a valid form of science fiction. And I think it's almost lost. Like Star Wars is like that sort of. There's other kind of things like that. But, I do appreciate the Asimov balance like that. And the show is holding true to that. I think the show does a lot of like, all right, and the vault can make physical things out of Harry Seldon's cells. Fine, Yeah,
that was the biggest lump for me to swallow. Think of how big that is, yes. That you could put a whole planet's worth of people inside, even a very sparsely populated planet. That somehow they could all just suddenly be scooped up and put in here as their planet was being destroyed around them. I'm not sure that Asimov would have appreciated that. But let's remember, he was writing at a point when there was a very, very stiff demarcation between science fiction and everything else. And there were some very strong feelings that could erupt if you did not adhere strictly to science and did not have anything that could not be affirmed by, if not the present day science, at least it came from a scientific point of view that said because this, then that. But on the other hand, back to nanites for a minute here, did Gale not know that Dawn could be traced by his nanites?
I don't know.
Did Dawn forget about his nanites, or did he just simply not tell Gale about them? Or
I don't think this Dawn is as paranoid as that day. And I think that's just part of it is Day thought about this clearly for a long time and clearly thought about all the different ways he could be tracked.
That's true.
And Dawn is literally running off, hand grabbed by another young person, just, young 300-year-old young person. And
never date an older woman. Yeah. I also, just as I was posing those questions, it suddenly occurred to me, could Gale and Demerzel have actually entered into an alliance?
It could be.
And Gale knew all along that, yes, Demerzel would track Dawn by his nanites and locate him? I don't know. I mean, this is the beauty of what they're giving us, is that there's so many possibilities. And now that we have this big... Well, I shouldn't talk about the big reveal until we get there, but I'm now even more open to possible alternatives than ever.
Yeah, there's a lot of options. I do like the idea that there will be an alliance. I don't think there's one right now. I do think Demerzel was actually genuinely surprised to see Gale.
That moment. I mean, could be. Hard to say.
But we're not there to talk about that yet. I want to do one little critique. I did not think that they made Mycogen feel different enough from like the Trantor, the T area. I didn't think it felt very different, but I mean, in the part where Day is driving around, I think perhaps in the landscapes, sure, you did something different, but it was like, all right, we're in another city street, and he's riding his motorcycle down another city street.
Well, but you see, originally Mycogen was, the ground level with the sky open to it.
Yeah, right.
You have to remember that they're going to build successive layers of city streets and whatnot over the thousands of years or however long it's been. So I wasn't really expecting it to look really different, like, caves in the French Pyrenees or something. But just, one more layer of city. So, but it's an interesting point. I mean, it didn't really remind me of any other part of Trantor, but let's face it, I don't really know how many other parts of Trantor we've actually seen, except the underground ones.
Yeah. And I just want to say on Demerzel, I don't know if she is underestimating this Day, because she says we'll not see him again and he won't bother us.
Yeah, that surprised me too.
I think he will bother you. I absolutely do think he'll bother you.
Yeah, I mean, she may think, all right, he's finally found a way to check out, and that's the end of it.
And to chase Song, right? I think that's what she assumes he's doing, because he's done a really good job of playing this fool. And honestly, she kind of, I think, sees the Cleons as these fools that she loves and she raises, and she, I don't think that she thinks very highly of them in terms of their intelligence and their wherewithal.
And their maturity, definitely childlike in her, however many tens of thousands of year eyes. So, yeah, maybe she is. Or maybe that dismissal was just on behalf of, her own particular officers and whatnot, to not lead them to explore any further.
Yeah, and it could be that she thinks like, all right, maybe he is planning something big, but this empire is going to fall faster than he can do anything. So
that's an excellent point, John.
Might not matter.
Yes, I mean, unless again she's got this amazing idea of connecting with the foundations.
Right.
She's still convinced that it's all going to informants anyway. So what's the big deal?
All right, so let's go on to a short scene on New Terminus, where Han Pritcher reports to Mayor Inber, who ignores the warnings about the mule and imprisons Pritcher. Inber worries about the capture of Magnifico by the Mallows.
Could Inber be even more oblivious than he already is?
He's very stupid. But again, like, he is, and I think you mentioned this to me before I even read this part, but like, he's pretty book accurate. Like, that is just...
That's right.
At this point, the mayors of the Foundation have become feckless. Yeah.
And also, mayors by inheritance, and there are dynasties now, and so on. And it's an excellent sign of how far the Foundation has fallen from the days of, the Hober Mallows and the Silver Hardens and all of that.
Mm-hmm. And we know, based on what Gail was saying and Han too, last episode, that there's supposed to be a civil war between Foundation and the traitors, which is supposed to, progress the Foundation to the next stage.
Right.
Question is, what's going on with that? We know Randu is hungry for it.
Sure. But there's so many variables now that it will be interesting to see what sort of tapestry they weave with them.
How long do you think Han's going to last in this prison with his second Foundation powers?
Interesting question. Does he want them to be revealed? I mean, the woman who had been his former partner, who wanted intimacy with him, and who, by the way, removes Gail's pendant from him, says to him, don't even try to get out of here, because you trained me, and I know everything that you know. Now, of course, one could think, yeah, I'm sure he told you absolutely everything. Right. They're secure that way. So, it could be that he built one more little escape hatch in this seemingly impregnable prison room.
I just think that he could get out at any point. Yeah. And I think if he got out, it would not be... People wouldn't assume he's a Mentalic, right? Because they don't even know that these people exist. The closest they know that exists is the mule, based on rumor. But they don't assume that anybody else exists. They have no idea about the Second Foundation.
And because they know that Han is chief of security and he built the whole system to begin with, they can easily come to the conclusion that I put forth, which is, he obviously built his own little loopholes throughout. So.
It wouldn't be in the top 100 reasons he got out, right? So
probably not.
I don't think he's really risking finding out.
And that is pretty much one difference between the book series and the TV series. As I think you've already pointed out, that the First Foundation doesn't know of the existence of the Second Foundation.
Correct.
So it'll be interesting again to see what trajectory that produces that takes it in a different direction from the books.
Even at this stage in the books, they the First Foundation knew about the Second Foundation, but had no idea that they were Mentalics.
True. I think they knew they were psychologists, though.
Yeah, they knew that they were psychohistorians, but they didn't know that they had developed that into like powers.
Right. Sure. Mm-hmm.
Right. And then also the show is very cute, where like the books just say psychologist, right? You practice psychohistory, but you're a psychologist.
Right.
The show's like, that doesn't sound mysterious enough. Let's call it psychohistorians.
Well, the academics types I include myself in this, love our titles, so.
Right. Well, we all love a good title.
I think so.
So why don't we take a quick break before we go back to meet the Mallows?
Hey everyone, David here. Wanted to tell you about a company that makes some really beautiful Middle-earth inspired products. Actually, I wish I had discovered OSHA slings when my daughter was little and I was using a lot of different baby slings and carriers. They sent me one of their Ancients of Gondor Ithilden baby carriers. Honestly, the design of this carrier is cool as hell. The quality is impeccable. It's a really smart design and super easy to use. I wish I had this when I needed it. I would have loved to show off my dad nerd cred at the time. But they also sent me a really nice blanket, the Misty Mountains Throw. And now that same daughter, she monopolizes it whenever she's on the couch. It's beautiful, just the right weight. It's brushed cotton, so it's breathable and keeps us really cozy. We've been having a lot of cold weather lately, so we're always fighting over who gets to use it. A little about OSHA. They're a family-owned Scottish company. They've been handcrafting products since about 2010. Everything's ethically sourced and made in their solar-powered workshop. Check out their website. They've got a bunch of information about their sustainability practices. That's something that's really important to me. And they have this huge line of official Lord of the Rings products. They're making baby carriers, throws, scarves, mugs, tea towels, and the designs are stunning. Like, go check out the website right now. There's a link in the show notes. New customers get 10% off with the code Lorehounds. Go to OSCHAslings.com.
We're back, ready to go to Haven. When Sweetheart can't make it to New Terminus, Torin struggles to find a new destination for the ship. Magnifico plays his Visisonar, and Torin realizes they can land on Haven, his homeworld, where they're promptly shot down. There, the curmudgeonly Randu Mallow bonds with his new niece-in-law, who tells him she wants to use Magnifico's power of song as a bargaining chip with the Foundation. We learn more about the tragic history of Randu and Torin.
Yeah, so now it's Uncle Randu to the rescue, which is an interesting twist.
Yeah, I think so. I like this Randu. I think this is, first of all, very book accurate, like
Absolutely.
You were saying.
Absolutely.
But you know, we all know somebody like this, right? Like a curmudgeonly guy, a curmudgeonly old man with like a heart of gold.
Oh gosh, yes. It's a classic trope from a lot of Westerns. I keep thinking Western throughout his whole discourse about the treasured family heirlooms and the drinking and all the rest of it. And, you think you're tough enough and all that kind of stuff. So,
right.
Yeah. I also found myself wondering, just what percentage of the time does Torin actually wear a shirt?
Oh my gosh, I had the same thought. I feel
just
like
getting a little old.
And anyone in the audience who plays the Final Fantasy game series, Marilyn, I don't know if you're familiar. I don't think so.
No.
He looks like a protagonist from Final Fantasy. Just like the hair, the ripped muscles, the never a shirt. I just feel like he'd do really well as a protagonist of a Final Fantasy game.
I'll take your word for it.
But yes, I was actually going to make the description this week. Now I can't do that. I was going to make the show description this week. John and Marilyn help Torin find a shirt in this latest episode of Foundation.
Oh, well. At least you got it in the episode.
That's right. I don't think more than like 10 people read the show description anyway. Because I know you do because you're on the episode, but I don't think a lot of people actually read the show description.
John, I like to read the show description because every week I want to see what clever way you're going to find.
Now I've blown my whole wad, though. You know what I mean? Like I have no more in me.
No, I think you have undiscovered depths remaining. I think that's just the flu talking.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. No, actually, one could almost assume that he's required by contract to be shirtless in at least one scene, every scene that he's in, at least one time, however long or short. Now, whether he required it or the showrunners required it, that's up to you to decide.
Why not both?
Why not both?
I mean, it is nice to see, we have a couple where, for once, it's not the woman being objectified as much.
Fair point. That's a change of pace. So, it's interesting that Randu is so opposed to the notion of marriage, and I wonder what's behind all that. I mean, granted, he has an unknown number of bastards out in the universe, so clearly he's not really concerned about absence of marriage. But is that the only reason why he's so down on it? I don't know. It seems kind of odd to me.
I just think that marriage just like isn't a thing right now. I mean,
clearly, but
I did enjoy when she calls him when Randu calls Beta Torin's husband. That was funny.
Yeah,
he picked a good husband. Good. And it took me a minute to think like, oh, was he saying complimenting his nephew? No, he wouldn't compliment his nephew. No. Can't do a direct compliment to the nephew. Instead, he's accidentally getting the term wrong.
No, I think he's deliberately, needling him. But at first I thought, oh, that's nice. He's beginning to soften because he thinks Torin is showing good taste in choosing. And then I thought, nah, he's just using another way to diss him.
I really, really liked learning about all these characters' backstories too. I thought that was a brilliant way to do it. First of all, another suggestion, because and now this is being pointed out to us. Twice this has been pointed out to us that Magnifico's Visisonor, which we now know is called that. They don't say that in the show, but it's in the subtitles, so now I can say that.
There you go.
So Magnifico's Maggie's Visisonor can affect emotions, it seems like, right? And so they think this is either part of the mules thing or related to it. Who knows? As far as the characters in the show are saying, and he starts playing again, and that's when things warm up, right, in the room. So even as Beta is talking to Randu about how this is happening, about how she thinks Magnifico's power of song works. It is working, and they're warming up to each other, and I think that's really brilliant.
It's true. I hadn't picked up on that particular nuance, but it's certainly making it trend in the direction that both you and I have been suspecting for a while now, huh?
Yeah, and I see that the Visisonor also made some papers fall down in your background.
More than just papers, yes. The whole Christmas box. Unfortunately, I maintain a box throughout the year, and when I buy things, I dump them in there. So. Well, my apologies to all our listeners. I'll try and keep my office in better shape, although that's kind of past praying for, I think.
That's all right. That's all right. I'd we'd help you out, but I'm, we're using our Visisonors to talk right now from across the galaxy.
That's very sweet of you. Yes. It's also interesting that she still sees him as, well, she calls him a puppy. And that whole diminutive view is, again, very true to the books. So, again, turning the kaleidoscope just a little bit.
And isn't that interesting? Yeah, isn't that interesting that she sees him as this puppy, but also one with power?
And I mean,
what do? We sell the puppy with power.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Now, just occurred to me now. Could Magnifico have planted this idea of himself as a puppy in Beta?
Maybe. I think he for sure planted the idea of going to Haven in Torin.
Oh, and I didn't see it until I read your description, and again I said, "Oh."
Yeah, Torin's like, "Where do I go? Where do I go?
What do I do?
I'll play my instrument. I know where we have to go."
Yeah. Yes, wheels within wheels.
I mean, they're doing a good job demonstrating it. That's why, like, I was like, we got to talk about it now. This is explicit at this point.
It is pretty explicit. I really like Beta's backstory. I like the origins of her, very tough fiber, and at the same time, her playfulness, her flirtation, all of these kinds of things, and how she fits very nicely into Mandu's world. And it was only a few seconds before Randu said it. Sorry, Randu, not Mandu. It was only a few seconds before Randu said it that I thought, she's every bit as much of a traitor as he is. And then he comes and says it. I said, okay, good.
Yeah.
I followed the direction that they wanted me to go.
They also did a really good job showing her candor, right?
Yeah.
There was this moment where he says, well, is he just a rung on your ladder? And she doesn't say, oh, no, he was always the top goal.
Right,
she goes,
right.
I thought he might be. Yeah. But no, actually, like, he's great, and we're going to ride this ladder to the top as best we can.
And you should think more of your nephew.
Yeah, I thought that was really brilliant. I mean, that really made, I think Beta's the best character this season so far.
She's certainly consistent. and certainly when it serves her, honest. And I guess that sort of feeling of not afraid to be exactly who and what she is.
Yeah. I think Beta is the best character on the Foundation Trader side, I would say. But I do enjoy the Cleon still. I mean, I'm just so enjoying their Cleon plotline right now.
For sure.
And all the acting going on over there.
And yet, for all her confidence and seeming contemporary nature, the two of them got married.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting contrast there. I wonder if they're going to make anything more of that or just kind of leave it there.
Right. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? Well, they're going to sell Maggie. I hope they keep calling him Maggie. That's that's fun.
And it's easier than saying Magnifico.
Magnifico. Should we do Bohemian Rhapsody every time it comes up?
Probably not, since I don't know it, but you go ahead.
You don't know Bohemian Rhapsody?
Sorry.
Wait, hold on.
I know the original Bohemian Rhapsody that was it Brahms wrote, or one of the 19th century classical composers.
You're not going to tell me you've never heard Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen.
But that is true, John. That is a literal fact. If I have heard it, I didn't know it. Let's put it that way.
Mark from Nevermind the Music. If you're listening to this, please invite Marilyn on the show to listen to Bohemian Rhapsody for the first time. That's the whole episode. You don't have to do anything else.
Oh, please. I'm not interesting enough.
Just give me her live reaction to Bohemian Rhapsody.
I'm not interesting enough to have a whole episode.
Mark and Nicole, you've heard me. You've heard my request. Thank you. All right. I can't move on with the episode from that. That was mind-blowing to me.
Oh, take a deep breath, John.
Okay. All right.
Better?
All right. I'm just a poor boy. Nobody loves me.
Oh.
That's from Bohemian Rhapsody.
I figured
you would have gotten that reference if you had known the song. All right.
John, I had a clue.
All right. Okay? All right. Blackmail time.
Uh-oh. You can't blackmail me on this. Nope. It's out there for all the world to know. Too late.
Dawn awakens on Gale's ship, where she reveals the power of the Second Foundation. He records a message to Dusk and learns about Salvor Hardin's zygote before the arrival on Clarion Station. Gale helps Dawn blackmail Vinod Tarask, I hope I'm saying that right, of the Galactic Council. But after planting the evidence, Dawn shows his mercilessness by killing Tarask's affair partner who overheard their struggle.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, his direct quote, "I'm a Cleon. We weren't raised to be kind."
That's true. I mean, what else are you going to ask from them?
And see the previous episode for my earlier thoughts about one day.
Yeah, I know. I saw. I got a little flack for saying that Dave was still compassionate. I'm gonna stick by it. I think I'm gonna double down.
You, John.
I think we'll get more feedback if I do that, which we haven't gotten a lot of feedback this season, and our numbers are similar to last season, so I don't know what's going on. People just aren't chatting with us. So if you want to send feedback, remember empire@thelorehounds.com, and you can chat with us. I think at this point we're probably just going to do a season wrap-up feedback, so please send some stuff in. I know the Discord is chattering, but
Discord is definitely.
But you got to send it in on email if you want me to read it on air.
Oh, okay. Maybe some people on Discord don't know that. So yes, Discord people.
It could be the case. Nancy spoiled them.
Convert yourselves to emailers, okay?
Yeah, we're going old tech with this. We've lost our spacers. We've got to go back to Jim Gates.
Thank you for not saying we have, an almost 70-year-old person here, so we got to be kind.
No, we just lost our spacers. I'm staying in universe here.
I know. Okay, that's fine. So, Gale has a zygote of Salvors. Do you think Salvor may be coming back to the show sometime?
No.
Or will the actor be returning in the role of their own daughter?
I won't be watching.
I was going to say, I know you would hate that. If
I would loathe that. First of all,
but why else are they putting it in here? Why else are they putting it in here, John? Why do we need to know?
I think it would be so cheap.
Yeah. It's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine how they might do that that wouldn't be kind of cringy. But
well, we are getting we are getting a Walking Dead showrunner next. So,
oh gosh,
I think it's actually, is it Fear the Walking Dead? I don't know. You know what? It might be good. I'm not going to judge it before it comes out. But
I was going to say I'm trusting them.
I'm just going to say that universe has not been known to always stick with the highest quality storytelling.
Well, hopefully there will be others who have been there from the get-go and that will rein in.
Yeah.
The greater
and like I said, maybe the showrunner is going to do a great job on this. I walk in with no prejudgment.
Yep. Me too.
But this season, we're still on the Goyer show this season.
Yeah, it makes me curious.
Yeah,
what they might be planning to do with it. There's something about looking, particularly from the outside, at the beggar, the ship, Gale's ship. It makes me hope that future tech isn't quite that ugly. And it certainly doesn't appear to be in any way, streamlined, air slip, whatever. Now, maybe because it's all jump technology, it doesn't have to be, but I don't know. It just looks odd to me. What can I say? On the other hand, it is very distinguishable, so maybe that's part of the reason why they have that particular design.
Yeah, or maybe it's a retrofit, right? Like it didn't originally do the slip space thing or whisper ships. Whisper ships.
Yeah.
All these universes have all these different names for the same thing, so I have to be careful. But I think it just is gonna look. It's like the Millennium Falcon, right? Like it's kind of its charm is that it's put together to not put togetherness.
I suppose. I mean, maybe one of the reasons why it looks that way is because they want to impress upon us that it's actually, several hundred years old. So why wouldn't it look more clunky next to the more recent, smooth, streamlined technology?
See, I think it would raise eyebrows on a Foundation planet, but not on an Imperial planet, because
that's a good point. Yeah.
Empire has not advanced, and Foundation has. And Foundation would be like, why are you still flying this?
Yeah. Well, other than sentiment and the fact that it's the only one available to her.
There will always be people with retro cars, right?
Classic cars. Fair point. Classic cars, classic ships, classic spaceships.
I was just looking at what are they? Amphicars. They are the cars that can go like 7 miles an hour in the water. You ever see these?
No,
they were real things in the 70s, and they only made them like the 70s and 80s. They cost a ton of money. They cost like $50,000, and they had a propeller on the back, and they were buoyant, so you could drive into the water and then go 7 miles an hour. You could only go in fresh water because salt water would rust it super fast. It was. You got to look these up. Everybody look them up. So I'm just saying, there's a market for everything.
Put something in the show notes, okay? So Don is skulking around in an overlarge hooded robe, which is really not very good concealment. Particularly the Imperial bling just still kind of shows up. And it just reminded me too much of Obi-Wan and of Jawas. And, it was just, I don't know. And golly, he is becoming a day, is he not? It's really kind of extraordinary.
Yeah, for sure.
I liked the method of casting votes in the council chamber with the lights that flash. They hold them up. Their badges are also voting devices, and they hold them up in their hands, and the light shows, either yes or no. And at first I thought, oh, that's nice because they're hiding their votes so nobody can see it. And then I see, nope, they're all turning around to see what everybody else is saying. Oh, well, human behavior hasn't changed that much in all these centuries. So, whatever.
Yep. Also, I don't think legislators should be able to hide their votes. People should know what their representatives
I don't either.
Have voted.
Well, yeah. And, in terms of coalition building, whatever, you need to see how your colleagues are. I guess I'm still coming from the world of conclave where it was all very, very, very
Catholics can do whatever they want with their hats.
Yes. The headgear is quite a startlingly varied,
robes.
Isn't it? Yep.
But this isn't a Miss Davis pod.
No.
This is a whole other sci-fi universe.
It's not even.
Is that a sci-fi universe?
Pod. Mrs. Davis?
Yeah, I think it's borderline sci-fi. It's like a sci-fantasy.
I think it's supposed to be our world. I might go with
but there's definitely some like maybe it's absurdist. All right, we don't have to go too deep into this.
Gabriel Marquez. What does he do? Magical realism. That's it. I think it's magical realism. But
yeah, I think
we digress.
Right. All right, so the next point.
Yes,
of course, and by the way, I just want to say, I don't feel badly for Tarask at all, but I do feel badly for his family. Like, my God.
I'm with you.
And I think that they deliberately, I thought it was actually really smart before we go on to the next part. I thought it was really smart that they had that affair partner be killed because it did two things in one shot, for better or worse. I mean, I guess it was a shot. It showed that Dawn was a Cleon and was cold and could be calculating when need be. Mm-hmm. And it showed that we don't have to feel badly for Tarask, right? Like, it took away our sympathy for him in the next second. And I think that is a brilliant way to tell a story. You are doing double duty on one plot point, do two emotional things.
Yeah, it's interesting. I see what you're saying, and I think probably that is an excellent reading. I'm also thinking that given the society in which he lives and the milieu and so forth, from his own perspective, he's not doing anything that is not uncommon and that everybody else isn't doing. Obviously not a reason for doing it if you hold, as I do certainly, and it sounds like you do too, with the idea that, when you're married, it means something. But
I think that this was an unsanctioned affair based on the fact that she was hiding. Wasn't like, oh hey, Cleon, here's my my
That's true.
mistress,
Here's my latest cuddle.
What do they call them in concubines in Dune?
Yeah. On the other hand, once she realized it was Empire out there, she would have been scared out of her mind. So if in other circumstances, she might have wandered out and said, "Oh, hi," and just gone away. But Empire, probably not. So who knows?
Well, I'm going to use it to make myself feel better about Tarask.
You go right ahead.
I do feel badly about his family, though, and let's get to that next.
Sure.
All right. So there's a betrayal next. Dawn succeeds in blackmailing Tarask and forcing a vote to put an enclosure around Calgon. Once the Imperial forces get there, the mule reveals he already took a jump gate and uses it to destroy both Calgon and the Imperial fleet. Gale guides Dawn in an escape, and when confronted, admits that she needed Empire to fall faster to create a target for the mule. With a spacesuit on, Dawn survives an altercation with Tarask only to be blown into space with his fate unknown. Meanwhile, Demerzel says hello to Gale aboard the Beggar.
Hello.
I was like, oh yeah, because I wasn't expecting Demerzel. They did get me with
I
that
wasn't
twist.
either. That was smooth. That was really smooth.
This was such a smart writing episode, and I love that.
Yeah. I was almost 100% certain that the mule would have left Calgon's system the minute that he spoke with Empire and obtained the jump gate. I mean, why would he hang around? Exactly.
Well, she goes, I wasn't totally sure, which means she was 99.99999% sure he left.
Right. But at the same time, it really seems like a huge oversight. And everybody else thought it was true, too. That he was still there. And so, okay, let's go. I mean, Dawn bought it without a second thought. So,
were any of them influenced by the Second Foundation members?
Well, that becomes more and more of a question, doesn't it? Which is kind of unfortunate because, again, little hand-wavy kind of in a way. But, of course, we were told very early on in this season that one of the things that Second Foundation has been doing has been seeding the galaxy with their members.
I'd be okay if they're nudging it,
it makes sense.
Like nudging just enough votes to put the enclosure on. I think that's a believable, a plausible Second Foundation activity.
Sure. And particularly for one of the Discord people who knows exactly what I'm talking about, alas, now that Calgon was taken away, it can no longer take anybody else away. Per that 1960s cartoon. Excuse me, advertisement.
Right.
Calgon, take me away. Not anymore.
Oh gosh.
So the mule tells the appalled assembly and Dawn that it was Empire that caused the suffering. Remember that. So is this a way for the mule's conquest of the Foundation and Empire to be made easier? Or is he just digging the knife a little deeper into Dawn? Is there some further?
I just read this as an abusive partner's look what you made me do.
Oh, it's absolutely that.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that was really strategic.
Okay. And I was totally fooled by Gale taking on Dawn's form so that Dawn could escape.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Gale, along with her second Foundationer, directing Dawn to the airlock for the space gate, which makes perfect sense. And then the long game is revealed. Holy cow. Gale says, I lied to you. Empire needs to get smaller and die out. That was always going to be. But Empire has grown a little stronger with the aid of the Prime Radiant. Hello. And Foundation has grown a bit weaker than Selden's necessary predictions. Well, okay. In order to bring the plan back on track, Foundation had to be the largest power. Empire had to fall to the mule so that Foundation could contain him on Trantor. They keep talking about containing him. I mean, I don't know. And control all the resource planets. And yet it seems that she wants Dawn to keep on living because as he's, showing that he's refusing to go along with her anymore and is completely rejecting her, she says, you can only hate me if you live. So is she trying to assuage her own guilt, or did she still have further plans for him?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think she really needs Dawn anymore. To be honest with you, I think she has now put the fatal blow in Empire, and that's what she needed this Dawn for, is to help him bring down the Empire. You never know. You never know. Maybe she did have something else.
Or it could just be, her natural humanity coming through and saying, oh, geez, I really don't want you to die. You can at least
have a decent regular life, right?
Yeah, and this leads me to suspect that one of the reasons why Gale doesn't want any close relationships with mentalists in particular is because she doesn't want them to see how incredibly ruthless she both can and must be. And I'm thinking, like master, like pupil. She didn't learn this in a vacuum. She's very much like Harry Seldon in that regard.
Yeah.
But when the fate of all the people of the galaxy is at stake, I guess, you do what you got to do. And I kind of hope that at some point Preem will have some comforting words for her. Because I really don't think she enjoys any of this.
No.
And it's all done out of necessity and contrary to her normal inclinations, intentions, whatever.
Yeah, I think she's having a tough time. And where's Harry Seldon? Have we checked in with him for a while? I mean, he's just gone.
He's gone, unless you're talking Volteri, which is not the same as,
No, and Gale's now actively working against him, right? Because Volteri gave the Prime Radiant to Empire for some reason. That Volteri doesn't seem to know why. I don't understand that at all.
I think if he said why, it would ruin the plan. That thing about I can't give out too much information because it'll affect your actions.
Yeah, I have no idea. Maybe I know I can't go down the rabbit hole on this, but I just have to let this one play out. But Gale is actively, like, she just thwarted something that Volteri did, is that Volteri strengthened Empire longer.
Yeah. I think one could interpret it a number of different ways.
What, you think Volteri wants to sweeten the pot for the mule? Give him a better target for when he goes conquesting?
Well, that's one possibility, but she keeps saying that it was Harry's plan that she's following, that it was, Harry's plan said that you could only be so strong or whatever, and they got too strong or whatever. There may be a 5th or 6th level chess move going on here between Harry and Demerzel. Because I don't know how much psychohistory can account for the behavior of an android. I don't even know if Harry knew that Demerzel was an android when the Prime Radiant was first established. I can't remember if they even said that. And of course, Demerzel does not figure as a character in this fashion in the books. So again, completely unknown territory. The writers can take it in any number of directions.
Yeah. We've got the X-Men now just doing whatever they need to do on Ignis and Professor X, Gail Dornick.
Right.
Yeah. I who knows what they're doing with this? I mean, the Second Foundation is quite different from books, and that's okay with me. I think they're telling a really interesting story with it so far.
They sure are. Dawn's final message to Dusk is so incredibly poignant. And this is where I see a genuine love and respect between Klingons, or at least from Dawn to Dusk. And they quote him. They show Dusk listening, and Dawn is saying, "You were afraid that you would be a Dusk that ran. I don't think you will. Be brave. Be at peace, Brother Dusk, and I pray I see you again wherever we Tyrants spend eternity." And there's the title of the episode. I just got chills and a couple of tears. It was really, really well done and totally unexpected. I mean, we did see him start the message, and there was a suggestion of it, but wow.
No, I thought that was brilliant. And when we had that scene of them sharing a drink together, I had a feeling that was going to be the last time we see those three together of any generation. I think that was kind of the love letter, the farewell letter to the Cleonic dynasty.
Interesting. Yeah, I could see that.
And here's the postscript.
At the same time, it seems to me that Gale has given Dusk a perfect incentive to use his planet killer device.
On what, though?
If he ever needed one. On whatever he perceives to be the location of the ones that basically killed Dawn. And how he interprets that will depend on any number of factors.
Did you say kill Dawn?
Yeah.
Why would he want to kill Dawn now? Because he thinks that Dawn...
No, the people that killed Dawn.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant that Dusk now wanted to kill Dawn. I was like, wait.
No,
you're reading something I'm not...
No, he wanted to kill Dawn's killers.
Right. Okay, all right. I'm good with you. Yeah, he definitely thinks Dawn's dead now. I kind of think, you put somebody outside deliberately showing me that there's a spacesuit. He's probably not dead, but,
I was interested that you said that. I was very interested that you said that. It mimics so much the end of Day in the second season.
Yeah, but they made it so clear that he got his whole spacesuit on and that he was to the side of the blast and then he just got sucked out. I'm like, all right, he's got a few minutes at least, right? I mean, long enough where he could probably get scooped up by Gale if he needs to.
And by Demerzel. Yeah. Because, of course, Demerzel can track him.
And so Demerzel's like, his nanites are that way. Go, guide your ship a little bit that way. Put him in the back. I'll heal him.
I have other things to attend to. Or alternatively, she just decants a whole bunch more. Which is what we've been expected. We've been led to expect all along. But this may be the last time that she may say, okay, no more Klingons.
So I think that something is going to happen to the decantathon, the decanters. Either this Dusk is going to go insane, or there's going to be an attack on Trantor. And I mean, what's the first thing the Mule should do if he wants to secure his throne? Is get rid of all the other spare Klingons, right?
And get rid of Demerzel if it's possible.
Yeah.
That's his, and I don't even know how much he knows about her at this point.
Right.
So that might be his unexpected downfall.
Now, I'm really curious because since Gale discovered her powers, she's not been in the same room as Demerzel. So I don't... First of all, I don't think that she knows... Actually, she probably does know that Demerzel's a robot at this point. But
I think so.
But does she know if her powers will work on her?
Well, I mean, that's probably one of the biggest questions that I got left with is, how does a Mentalic fight an android?
It's a good question.
Because, completely different frames of reference, if nothing else. Yeah, I definitely felt at the end that Dawn himself did not want to die at that point. I mean, maybe it was just human nature instinct to grab on and hold on as long as he could. But I don't know. I love Demerzel's line. It has been 300 years. You are looking well.
Yeah, that was funny. She's still got a sense of humor.
She's got all kinds of stuff. She does. But why didn't she show up before Dawn launched himself or didn't launch himself, but was launched into the void?
Well, she doesn't teleport. We know that.
No, but she'd been following all along.
Yeah, probably.
How close was she following? I suppose she didn't want to. She stayed outside range so that didn't know if the bigger could pick her up.
Her Zeroth law said he needs to be taught a lesson before I rescue him.
Well, that could be. That could certainly be. Though she could also have just been ready to ditch him the way she'd done with, previous Dawns and even a day or two. So
that's true. I will make Demerzel decant and do one of you. That was a great line from Dusk.
Yeah. So many questions. It's so many ways it could go. I've been waiting to record this episode because I want to see the next one.
I do too. I was like, oh man, that's a great cliffhanger.
What a place to end halfway through.
And what do I always say on cliffhangers? Alicia always brings us up that I complain about cliffhangers. But I like cliffhangers where the question is what happens next? What's the emotional impact of that? And I think we got a perfect one here with Demerzel meeting Gale. Arguably, the cliffhanger with Dawn rather is a little dumb because he's like, "Oh, I'm outside." But honestly, I don't even think that's a dumb one because we saw him put a spacesuit on. I'm convinced he's still alive. But I'm so curious about the emotional impact of these two serious players, Demerzel and Gale, who have incompatible powers. These two players meeting face to face. I'm so curious what's going to happen next. That's what makes it a great cliffhanger.
Yeah, for sure. And I would love it I think we had this speculation early on, I would love it if Demerzel has sought her out and said, look, we need to join forces here.
That's a good prediction you had. I think that's right.
That would be so much fun. Really so much fun. So one really kind of fuzzy place, how did, what's his name? Tazik, the Calgon administrator, traced Dawn's location and even enter that space lock? To seek revenge?
I don't know. Maybe he was just following him and who knows?
Well, I'm not sure the timing works with the scenes they were showing us. I mean, other than Gale or Zara sending him some kind of a telepathic message, I'm just not sure how we're supposed to think he accomplished it. We're not supposed to think at all. I realize this.
I think on this one, this is one of those where my parents would have said to me, "It's a movie."
Right.
Too many questions.
Eat your cereal.
Yeah. I haven't had to use that one in a while. We've been covering such good shows.
Yeah, seriously. I found myself wondering, this convention of numbering the Cleons.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's only the days that get numbered.
Yeah, I think each Cleon gets numbered, but
each Cleon gets numbered, only the day is known. It's always, Cleon the whatever.
Yeah, because that's the one that's
day.
ruling, right?
It's neither the dawn or the dusk, because that's the one in the middle chair. Right. I'm wondering if that somehow supports their individuation, and then that reinforces the genetic drift. Because I have a number. I may be a Cleon, I may be a clone of the very first one, but I am a number in a series and therefore different from the number before me and the number after me.
Right. That's interesting, yeah.
I mean, it's a very human thing to do. And I don't think it's hidden knowledge that the Cleons are clones, is it?
No, that's definitely
public. That's common knowledge. Yeah, they may be clones and supposedly exact copies of their originator, but the personal experience has got to shape and mold anybody, regardless of their origin, I think.
Yeah. No, and how many juniors or twins try to differentiate themselves?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. I was thinking that a lot.
But they don't have this quite tailored experience to try to make them exactly like.
Right.
Yeah, it's a very unique situation here.
Yes. It is unique. No very needed.
True.
Period. It is unique. So 2 small questions here. I keep trying to see what are the faces that we keep seeing in the lovely opening sequence on the winged human statues.
Mm-hmm.
They have changed over time, and so I'm wondering about that.
I haven't noticed. I have to go back and look.
And I love the music during most of this final sequence, and it sounded the undercurrent. It sounded very much like the undercurrent music for Sauron's.
For Rings of Power, yeah. I wonder if there's a link between the composers of these 2 shows.
I wonder. What do you suppose? Oh, they're probably just clones, right?
That's right. It's actually Craig McBreary.
Craig McBreary
Does the music for one of them.
Oh, I thought it was Foundation Bear as opposed to Rings of Power Bear.
Right. You're right. I think you're right.
There can be only one. The inimitable Bear McCreary.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you, Marilyn, about another episode of Foundation. I'm sorry if I guess we did a normal length episode anyway, but
yeah, we did.
Sorry if my voice was giving out at certain points where I'll hopefully be fully on the mend next week. Let's just talk quickly about the affiliates.
Yes.
Everyone check out Nevermind the Music. They are doing a weekly music and psychology breakdown, collaboration. I know we're going to be doing some collaboration with them coming up, so stay tuned on that.
And see if Mark actually does invite me onto an episode.
I hope he does. I cannot. I don't believe you. I know you've heard Bohemian Rhapsody. It was on the radio for like 10 years straight on like every rock station.
But John, I've never listened to a radio rock station in my life.
Okay. Well, all right. All right. We're moving on.
But I'm willing to be educated.
It might be the greatest song of all time.
Well, then I really do need to hear it sometime.
Don't go search this up until I hear back from Mark.
Okay. I will remain in my complete ignorance on the subject.
All right. And if you want more Marilyn, Rings and Rituals is available. You can listen to your breakdown, Marilyn, with Dr. Sarah Brown on Rings of Power Season 1. And I know you'll be doing Season 2 before Season 3 comes out. So subscribe to that feed.
And by the way, that is my breakdown of the series, not my breakdown, period.
Yes.
It was very successful. We had a lot of fun.
Very good. Properly Howard Movie Review is finishing up their season on Kevin Bacon. That is the Bacon Rap season. And they're having a great time over there. So go check that out. They review a bunch of Kevin Bacon related movies. We covered Severance with them, so you probably heard them on this feed. Radioactive Ramblings doing their Fallout lore and their Red Rising book club. So go check out all the stuff going on there. Beef up on your Fallout lore ahead of Season 2 in December. Mm-hmm. And make sure you're also checking out Alicia's feeds, Woolshift Dust covering Dune right now, and the Star Wars Canon Timeline podcast, where you can get your chronological canon timeline order.
Yeah, big stuff there. Really incredible, the amount of knowledge that she has.
Absolutely. She has more knowledge about Star Wars than I have about basically anything.
Me too.
So I'm going to thank everyone. Well, actually, I should probably tell you what we're doing on the network first. So on the main feed, forgot to tell you about my own podcast.
Why not?
On the main feed, I'm not going to be on it because I'm still recovering, and Alicia and David are mercifully going to handle this one without me. But Heat, they're covering Heat for 11Zs. And so check that out. That is part of the Val Kilmer Film Fest that Alicia's leading. And they also just did a taco second breakfast where I will say, David says Crunchwrap Supreme in a very ridiculous way, and it made me laugh every time. And I need you got to subscribe if you want to know how he says it. So he definitely had one of his Gen Xer trying to pronounce something that the cool kids know how to pronounce moments. So go listen to that episode. That's for subscribers only. Both of those are for subscribers only. And on the public feed, you're going to get some Alien Earth coverage coming right up. I know Alicia just covered both Superman and Fantastic Four with Jean. So there's plenty of superhero stuff going on the main feed.
Great episodes. So do listen if you've seen them already, And she also see them first, then listen.
Yeah, exactly. She also just covered the Eternaut, and I don't know what that is. So if you do know what it is, I hope you'll listen.
Yes.
And Peacemaker is going to be coming this fall. So stay on the main feed. You'll get plenty of content. But for now, a big thank you to our Discord server boosters, Aaron K, Tiller the Thriller, Duve71, Athena A, Lestu, Dancy M, Ghost of Partition, and Radioactive Richard. And our lore masters, Samartian, Michael G, Michelle E, Brian P, SC, Peter OH, Adam S, Nancy M, Duve71, Brian 8063, Frederick H, Sarah L, Gareth C, Matthew M, Sarah M, Andra B, Kwang Yu, Deadeye Jedi Bob, Nathan T, Alex V, Sub-Zero, Aaron K, Deli V, Mothership 61, Gnarls. Sorry, that was a lame one because of my flu. Gnarls.
Sounded good to me, John.
Kathy W, Lestu, Jeffrey B, Elisa U, Neil F, Ben B, Scott F, Stephen N, Julia F, Kali S, Ilmariel, /Tim, Paul K, Bobby C, Jessica H, our newest lore master, and Adrian.
Yay.
Thanks everyone for being a supporter, and we will see you with more Foundation next week.
Thank you. Good night.
The Lorehounds podcast is produced and published by The Lorehounds. You can send questions and feedback and voicemails at thelorehounds.com/contact. Get early and ad-free access to all Lorehounds podcasts at patreon.com/thelorehounds. Any opinions stated are ours personally and do not reflect the opinion of or belong to any employers or other entities. Thanks for listening.